Welcome to another episode of the Daily Chat Podcast, where we talk about all things awesome and nerdy. All right, guys, we know this one's a little delayed. We probably should have done this one like a week or two ago, but return to the podcast for this time of year is my friend and yours, Megan Fletcher. Meg, welcome back to the podcast, broadcasting over the internet from the East Coast. How you doing?
Hello.
What's up, Meg? How you? Huh?
I'm sitting in this room with no AC right now, and I'm dying.
Join the club. I live in Los Angeles. That's about to become the weather in the next day.
Yeah, well, year, really, kind of for you.
Yeah.
At least it gets cold. It'll like, the heavens will open up in a couple of months, and then it'll be white on the ground for months, and I'll be complaining that I'm cold at that point.
Exactly, which is why I left New England. If I'm going to complain about the weather, I want to complain about only one weather, not all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I should try that.
Exactly. All right. So, like always, I usually have you on this because we are going to discuss the Arrowverse and its season.
We're going to discuss it, or we're going to shit on it?
Tomato.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this for a while now, and it just feels like every single year, excuse me, it just feels like every single year this reigns truer and truer that it's just dipping in quality severely.
Yeah, with the exception of Arrow last year, and maybe Legends this year.
I mean, Legends just, ever since they stopped taking themselves so seriously, it really just seems like it's gotten more enjoyable at the very least.
I love that show so much. It's the only one I look forward to watching.
I know, right? And I feel like I shouldn't.
Because it's so bad, it's good.
Exactly. I mean, it just stopped taking... It was pretty much that second season episode where Rory just called it out, like saying like the show's introduction is just crap. You know?
Who writes this crap anyways?
Exactly. I mean, once you had that come out, then it was basically, like off to the races. They just stopped caring. Well, not stopped caring. They just, stopped taking themselves so seriously.
And that's when it got better.
Exactly. I mean, how do we want to break this down, Meg? Should we break down each show? Let's start with which one do you think was what I think is the worst out of all three of them this year was, I don't know. That's a tough one to pick.
Supergirl.
Yeah, Supergirl, but that's been like the queen. That's been like the king of the worst for the past 2 years running now.
Supergirl and the Flash are kind of like racing neck and neck for last place.
Exactly. That's kind of funny when you think about it, because in the comic books they always had Superman and the Flash race.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But it's just like I don't know how to explain it. It's like ever since the like I feel like the Flash has been dipping in quality since the halfway point of season 2.
Yeah, the Flash, not only did it get, the Flash just made me severely uncomfortable this season. I don't know why. Like, I haven't been able to pinpoint it. Like, I get that the whole Thinker was, and his wife was kind of like a metaphor for a mentally abusive relationship, and maybe that's why it made me uncomfortable. But the season as a whole made me feel it was just very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they tried to rip off the whole season. What was it, 4 of Arrow, where they decided to put more focus on the leading lady, or the lady of interest, if you will, i.e., for Arrow was Felicity. This season was Iris.
Yeah, fuck Iris being. I'm doing quotes in the air right now. You can't see it, but I'm doing it. Fuck her being the leader of the team.
Oh yeah, and that whole "We Are the Flash" thing.
Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, it was like, worse than Felicity. I'm doing quotes again. Felicity.
I mean,
it was.
I
by
wouldn't
far
go that far to be.
That.
I don't think it was. I mean, this season was worse than what they did with Felicity, because Felicity didn't bother me that much this season.
No, me neither. It was very much in the background where it should have been in the first place.
Yeah, with the exception of that whole part in the middle in the on the crossover episode where Iris Felicity just decides to, hey, let's make this a double wedding.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, Iris is upset about it. Yeah, that's probably the only thing that I agreed with Iris on the entire season was that Felicity hijacked her wedding.
I kind of hope they bring that back.
Oh, me
They
too.
they bring they
Yeah,
bring that point back.
I want a cat fight in the next crossover. Let's do it.
That'd be hot.
I know. Uh,
uh,
yeah, so
and I
Supergirl is
feel
definitely going last, I think.
yeah, and then there comes the Flash.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know how to put my finger on it. Like, what happened to the whole franchise? Like the whole shared universe? Like, Marvel just proved that they can do an entire movie verse for 10 years and keep it going strong. They've been hitting out of the park ever since they did Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Every movie. I mean, you saw Infinity War,
I did.
and how great was that movie?
I still have feelings about it. Good
Oh, me
feelings.
too.
All good feelings.
All good feelings too. Yeah,
All good feelings.
for a movie that was 2.5 hours long, filled with like 25 leading actors.
Yeah, and I hate sitting in a movie theater that long, but
So do I. But
I would
I
do it
was
3
engaged.
times if.
I was engaged the whole time I was watching that movie.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely was.
Yeah. But at any rate,
Mm.
it just feels so weird to me now that after we've been, the Arrowverse has existed now. It'll be into what, its 7th season coming up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean it's just like I don't know how to explain it. Like this whole season, it just feels like every single season there's like the one show that has like true redemption or just absolutely kicks ass. Then you have the other season. Then you have the other show, 2 other shows that are meh, and then you have the other show that's just utter garbage.
Well, I know that I'm gonna give Supergirl a pass on it this season because I know that they did have a huge writers switch. I don't know if it was midway through the season or if it was part of the way through the first half of the season, but they did get rid of one of their better writers. Um,
Okay.
and then there was that whole sexual harassment controversy throughout the Arrowverse. Was it Kreis? I don't know if it was Kreisberg or not. I'm looking it up right now, actually. Uh, but he's gone
Oh,
from
it
the
was
show
Hollywood.
now. Yeah, it was all of Hollywood.
I can
Definitely. Oh,
imagine.
yes, it was Kreisberg. He was fired halfway. He was fired during the mid-season break of the thing. So they're probably going to
Right,
bring
I
in a
remember
new
that.
producer come next season for the Arrowverse as a whole. So let's see what happens next season.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't know how they can. I'm going to be honest with you. I think The Flash was actually worse this season than Supergirl.
I don't know.
I'm actually going to go that far.
I feel like the Supergirl writers went out of the way to destroy each and every one of their character develop
But I
as
feel
far
like
as their
I f-
development has come so far.
but I feel like The Flash has been doing that for the past 3 seasons.
Mm, yeah, you're probably right. You're probably
Yeah.
right.
I mean, it's like, remember when Barry used to love being a superhero? Now he's just like, oh my god, it's my day job.
Well, everybody loves everything doing everything at first.
True. True. But I mean, like, that whole thing with. I feel like when they set up Flashpoint last season, they opened up so much potential to, like, do so many different things, and then they just didn't.
They did, and Supergirl did the same thing at the end of this season with the.
Oh my god, that pissed me off so fucking much.
Why?
It's like it's just because like the last season they had a whole episode, like a good chunk of the crossover last season and the mini crossover that happened last season, the whole musical thing with Kara and Barry.
Yeah.
They straight up Barry straight up said, "Yeah, I'm not allowed to travel through time anymore to fix things because it's bad."
Oh,
And then
yeah.
Kara goes right ahead and goes through time and fixes
You were
things.
talking about the time travel. Yes, I had the same. I have the same issue.
Oh yeah, spoilers alert for anybody who's not been paying attention.
I have the same issue, and I
Here we are,
think.
10 minutes, and I'm finally giving the spoiler warning.
Oh well, I had the same issue, and I think I even posted on Facebook, like, what are you, Barry fucking Allen Carradine or something like that. I don't remember. But it was very upsetting. But that's actually not what I was referring to. I was referring to the second car showing up at the with the Russians. Were they Russian? I think they were Russian.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Like that kind of confused me.
I think they're doing what is it? Black Kryptonite?
Oh, Black Kryptonite? Oh, I thought they were. I was hoping they were gonna do some adaptation of Red
The
Sun, but
stone.
that'd be a little bit
The
trickier,
stone that she
huh?
held. The stone. I forgot what it was called. It started with an H. But the stone.
Oh, some made up
Yes,
element.
that made up element right there is turned into black kryptonite, I guess, when it hit
Uh
Earth's
huh.
atmosphere. So black kryptonite, what does that do? It splits good.
I have
It's
no
supposed to
idea.
split um one entity into two,
Split
your
a
good and
Kryptonian.
the good part and the bad and the evil. So
Okay,
we're gonna be
great,
dealing with
awesome.
evil
Ugh.
Kara next season. Basically, they're taking the Nazis. They're running with the Nazi storyline.
I mean, I guess maybe, or maybe they're just trying to do the whole Savitar thing all over again. Which
No,
no,
that would be
just
awful. That
no.
would be awful.
That would
They
right.
just need to bring Amy Adler back. That's the name of the writer that they got rid of. The good writer.
Okay. I mean, was who was it?
Amy Adler.
Andy.
Amy.
Andy. Okay, so Andy.
A AMY.
A N Y. Okay, I couldn't tell whether it was if there was a D in there or not. My mistake. Any rate, um, yeah. I mean, was she on the show before, or he?
She started with season 1.
Okay, yeah. I liked for the most part. I liked the first season of Supergirl when I
It
was
was
back
good.
in. Yeah, it was enjoyable. It wasn't great, but it was enjoyable. Like, I mean, I didn't have any beef with it or anything like that. You know, like, yeah. I mean, like, it wasn't exactly like amazing or anything like that. It's just uh like it was just like it was just enjoyable. Like it was fun to watch. Like I mean, the only thing about the first season of Supergirl I didn't like were I think like the first 2 or 3 episodes and the very last episode.
Yeah, the first season it took a good half of the season for me to say, okay, this is a good show.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
by the end, I was invested.
Yeah,
And then we got to the end of the second season, and I wasn't so much invested anymore.
and now I'm
Probably
even
the middle, even.
less invested.
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting less and less invested, especially with the character destruction that they're doing. It's
Hmm.
awful. I
Yeah,
hate it.
I mean they kind of sort of ruined. I mean, we can talk about it real quick because it was kind of it was kind of something they kept hinting at all season was the Maggie thing.
Yeah, yeah, and you want to know what the actually the good thing that came from the terrible Supergirl season was the fans of Maggie and Alex got together and raised almost $12,000 for homeless LGBT youth.
All right, well that's good.
Yeah, but
Yay. And it's a good thing
yeah,
and it's fitting that we're talking about this at the tail end of Pride Month.
yes, yes, it is.
Yay.
Yeah,
Rainbows everywhere.
that
So
was a
many rainbows.
there were a lot of rainbows when I went to Pride last weekend.
Uh, I live not too far from West Hollywood.
Yes, yes. No, but that was a shitty way to end the story, and I
I'm
think there's a lot of rumors going around as to why Floriana Lehman left, whether it had to do with Kreisberg, who knows. She wasn't getting enough screen time. There's a lot of rumors to that, and apparently they're still in talks about bringing her back, but she is going to be on The Punisher next season.
yeah, no, leave her be. She's making an upgrade, a serious
Yeah,
upgrade in her career. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, I know the what was it? Last season Marvel. We can go off topic a little bit, but I remember last season Marvel's Netflix series were meh. Like Iron Fist was just bad. I don't know if you watched that.
I did not. No.
Yeah, no, I mean, you might want to watch at least read the Wikipedia summary just so that way you know what's going on when season 2 comes out.
Mm.
But then there was the Defenders, which was good for the first half, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't, it just had a weak ending. And that, did you see that one or?
No, dude, I tell you what, as far as the Netflix Marvel universe is concerned, I'm about halfway through season 2 of Daredevil.
Oh.
I know, I'm so far behind. And
What about Jessica Jones?
Jessica, I have not started season 2 yet.
Okay, season 2 is pretty good. I actually liked.
But don't I have to watch The Defenders first before I watch season 2 of Jessica Jones as far as timeline is concerned?
It doesn't hurt. That's all I'm gonna say is that it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a
Season
lot to
two of
catch
it.
up on.
I liked season 2 of Jessica Jones better than the first. Well, how can I put it?
Really?
Overall, I'd say that let me put it this way. Overall, I would say that the first season of Jessica Jones told a better story, and did a little bit more with the character development and in-depth views of like control and like human psyche and everything like that.
Uh-huh.
But my biggest complaint about the first season was it felt like the climax lasted 4 episodes or whatever, 3 episodes. It
Ooh.
lasted too long. So that was my problem with it. Whereas I felt like, at the very least, this season had better pacing.
Okay.
I liked the pacing of season 2 better. And it's not like the villain was bad or anything like that. It gets pretty gray. I'm not going to spoil it, but the villain has it's a very gray situation for Jessica when it comes to season 2 when the villain. Even grayer than with Kilgrave.
Okay.
And then I just wrapped up season 2 of Luke Cage, and that was pretty solid. That was pretty solid. It was much more consistent throughout than the first season, because my problem with the first season was once they killed off the main bad guy and replaced him with another one, it kind of was like, eh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've even seen the first season of Luke Cage.
Nope. I'm, like I said, halfway through season 2 of Daredevil. I haven't gotten much further than that.
So you haven't even seen Punisher yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, just
Nope.
sit down and watch Punisher, because you don't need to see anything else. Maybe finish up season 2 of Daredevil and then just go straight into Punisher.
Okay, and then what? Defenders?
I mean, if you want to watch the Defenders, fine.
Was it good?
It's okay.
Okay. So I'll do Luke Cage and then Jessica Jones, and then watch the Defenders if I feel like it.
Yeah, and same thing goes for what do you call it? The only thing I want to say about the Defenders, though, is like it does set up things for the next seasons of all its respective of all the main characters' shows, or at the very least, it definitely does for Daredevil.
Okay.
Yeah, you actually know what, you probably should, because they mention things that happened in Luke Cage.
Okay.
That happened during the event of Defenders. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the good TV movie TV
We're
universe.
here to talk about the shitty one.
Exactly.
I had so much high hopes for this universe too, because their movies are absolute garbage and their shows started so good.
Yeah, they did start off really good, or really well.
Terrible.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I mean, can we talk about the main one? Can we talk about the one that started it all this season?
Yeah, we can talk about Arrow. Let's talk about Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, just such a. I don't want to say this season was bad. I really, really don't want to say that this was a bad season, or at the very least, a terrible season.
It wasn't awful.
Yeah, I would just call it lackluster. You know.
That's a perfect term for it. It just I was disappointed with the villain, especially after last season. I mean,
well, here was my thing. I liked the idea with what it seemed like they were going with first, which was a syndicate of crime villains.
Yeah.
Or super criminals or whatever. I liked that idea, because we could have had like I mean, I haven't read this Batman story arc yet, or there's apparently in the comics there's a Green Hour version of it, but it looked like they could have gone with like a whole Court of Owls thing.
Okay.
Which is basically like a whole bunch of like crime syndicate families or the super elite get together, and they pretty much control the seedy underworld of the city.
That would have been okay.
I would have been much more, yeah. And it looked like they were gonna, and I would have been even okay with the idea of who was the hacker guy that they were trying to set up as that it looked like was going to be the main villain for a while.
Caden James,
yeah, thank you. Yeah, so he like the whole motivation of him being pissed off at Oliver for killing his son, like whatever. Like I would have been like, okay, fine, whatever. But now you're just repeating what the villain of the last season was doing.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And then it just turned out to be this guy that got bullied as a kid, and boo-hoo.
Yeah, it was like I was bullied as a kid. That's why I'm a criminal. I was like, dude, boo fucking who? Like,
Yeah.
you got picked on when you were a kid. Who didn't? Like,
And you have this whole Laurel getting her, what do you call it?
conscience back.
Yeah, what is that? Why? Just why?
I liked evil
It
Laurel
doesn't
better.
need to happen.
I liked evil Laurel so much better.
I did too. I did too. It's very disappointing.
I know it is. It's so disappointing. But I mean, beyond that, though, it's just I don't know how to explain. Like, I liked it how she started off, where it was like, oh, she's actually deliciously evil. This is good. And then it was like, now she's starting to regret everything. It's like, girl, I just saw you snap a man's neck without even blinking. Like,
You
what the fuck? Like,
screamed in a man's ear until he bled out and
yeah,
smiled
exactly,
about it.
exactly. And then
Like,
all of a sudden, you feel guilty for killing a vigilante. Like, what the hell?
yeah, bitch, you probably took a nap after that kill. And now I can't. I can't. Bitch gets shot in the
Yeah,
ribs a couple of times and she starts to rethink her life. It's bullshit.
right. Like, you would have thought the first like couple times you got captured would have made you rethink your life.
Yeah. I can't. I can't. Like, something needs to happen to her to keep her on the dark path next season because I can't stand to watch her turn into a good guy.
Well, here's the thing. I'd be okay with the redemption story arc. I really would be. It's just I don't think they went about it the right way.
Mm, yeah, no. You don't think so? Like, they went about
I
it the
mean, I would have been more.
easiest way, right through the father.
Yeah. Would you, yeah, with the whole connect. No, I'm not saying that angle in and of itself would have been bad if they included it. It's just I would have preferred it if she had a much greater motivation for wanting to betray Diaz and James, as in, uh, who ordered her to kill Vigilante? Was it Caden James? I can't remember.
I think so, yes.
Well, yeah, it's just one of those things where like, dude, like Vigilante stabbed your organization in the back, like your little cabal of super bad guys in the back. Like, yeah, no shit, you got to kill him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way the mob works. So but it's like now she's feeling guilty about that. Like, dude, seriously? Like, I would have been more okay with her feeling guilty if it was like, or like her wanting to start a redemption path if like Caden James betrayed her somehow, or made her do something that was like, I don't know, like blow up a middle school or something like that,
Right,
you know?
right. And you also can't tell me for like 1 minute that she was afraid of Diaz.
No, like that, I couldn't buy because he's just a dude.
Yeah,
He is just a normal dude
yeah. So what? He can
with a.
box. You got metahuman powers, man.
You can scream and take down a building.
Mm-hmm. That's what
Yeah,
I
no, like I
couldn't
couldn't. No,
understand it. I could not. I couldn't grasp it. Like, it was so far
yeah, no,
out
neither.
of her character, it wasn't even enjoyable anymore. Like,
Yeah,
she could
right.
have
Like,
killed him. Like, I get it. At the last couple episodes, he had like the tech to go to use against her, and be safe.
you're right.
But before that, she could have screamed at any point and killed him.
Yeah, or hell, she was a good enough combatant. She wouldn't have even needed to scream. You know?
Yeah, that the whole thing was bullshit, and it was sloppy writing.
Yeah,
It was really
it really was
sloppy
sloppy
writing.
writing. Yeah, yeah, and I mean,
Fight choreography
and
on that show is still up on par though.
for this season, yeah, it was actually like the oh god, what was that? Like that scene with Deathstroke when he's just busting through
Yes.
that mafia group.
Fucking yes.
That was probably the best scene of the entire
That was
season.
great. Yes.
Yeah, that was like not as good as anything that happened in The Punisher, but damn close.
It's pretty. That it looked pretty, and Arrow's fight choreography, even if the season was an entire bust like it has been in the past, the fight choreography is always fun to watch.
I don't think it was great in season 4. In fact, I thought it was pretty bad in season 4.
I can't remember that far back. I'd have to go back and watch an episode.
That was the bad season, Meg.
Which season was
that?
that?
Was
that
the
Ross?
worst season.
Ross Aku?
What was it? Season 4? Yeah, it was season 4. Yeah, yeah. That was the Damien Dark season.
Oh, the Damien Dark season. Yeah, I hated that season.
Yeah.
I mean, let me tell you something about that. I like Damien Dark as a character, but he works so much better on Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, because it's like he just looks like he's having way too much fun with the character. That was the problem. Like Legends is a show about having fun, and Arrow's all about being dark and brooding.
Exactly, and he had a lot of fun. You could tell he had a lot of fun on Legends of Tomorrow. He was able to open
Yeah,
that
he did.
character up and do what he wanted with it. It was great.
Yeah, and that probably, and I'm not gonna lie to you, that was probably the best final battle ever.
Yes, Bebo. That was the Megazord battle I never knew I needed.
Right?
I loved it.
It was just so ridiculous. Like, and the worst part is too. It's like I go online and I see every once in a while and I check out some of the forums on like Reddit and stuff like that, and people complained about it, saying like, "Oh, that season finale was lackluster." I'm like,
That was
dude,
awesome.
the show's ridiculous. The most popular character on the show has become a giant, just become a tiny purple plastic plush Furby knockoff.
They can't
Like,
ever get rid of him. He has to stay for the rest of the show.
no, yeah, and I love it how he's popping up a little bit more in the other aspects of the Arrowverse.
Yep.
Like he
In
showed
the
up in
Flash.
what do you call it?
He showed up in the
He showed up once in the Flash. I can't wait for him to show up in
He
Arrow.
did, didn't he?
What? I don't know. He didn't show up in Arrow, but they had a flashback. Bebo was in. Remember how Bebo was introduced
Yeah.
with a flashback of Stein
Yes.
on Hanukkah,
Yes. With the
like about to
Arrow
trying to buy a
music
Bebo.
there.
Yeah, and oh my god, that was so great.
I love
that. Was great.
That was amazing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and it's things like that where it's like, yeah, no, like I can't get, like, what do you call it? Like what do you call it? Like, I feel like at this point, Legends of Tomorrow has just become kind of like a puppy dog, constantly making a mess of things. It's like, yeah, you're a little rambunctious and you're kind of stupid, but I can't stay mad at
I
you.
know. They're just, as a cast, it's a good show, and it's not well
Yeah.
written, but it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, the rules of time travel on that show remain so inconsistent.
They've just found the right formula,
Right?
and they're running with it, and good for them. And I hope they could do it again next season. Like, I want to see Giant Bebo again. Like, and I want like a Captain Planet reference, like, by our powers combined.
My biggest problem, the one episode that I was surprised they didn't go far enough with, actually, on that episode with the references, was the Grateful Dead episode.
what were they trying to find? They were trying to find the one of the amulets, right?
Right, they were trying to find one of the amulets, but for whatever reason, the first half of the episode was just nothing but Grateful Dead jokes.
Yeah, I remember that. That was actually a good episode.
It wasn't great. Well, I mean, like, you know, having grown up listening to so much Grateful Dead, thanks to my father, you know, like that episode kind of, those jokes meant a lot to me, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And there's two things about that episode I truly just was upset about. Number one was after the first act, I want to say, or even just like the halfway point in of itself, they just straight up dropped the Grateful Dead references altogether.
Yeah, they
didn't like. And number two, that would have been a great episode just to make a joke about Nate's drug abuse, particularly
he did
that
a lot of drugs this season.
He did do quite a few drugs this season. In fact, he made a joke about getting contact high at a Dead show. It's like, nobody gets contact high at a Dead show. You just get high.
Yeah, Nate spent quite a few episodes stoned on some kind of substance or another.
Or tripping balls.
Yeah, and you know what? I typically hate Nate. I don't like his character, but that was pretty entertaining.
No, I think I liked him better this season than last season when he was introduced.
Yeah.
I think I like him a little. I've started to ease into Nate a little bit more. I think it's just because
a lot of
I think well, besides that, I think it's because part of it is because they actually handled his relationship with Amaya actually pretty well for the most part this season.
They did, and I liked, again, how it was nice in the background, not too much in your face.
Exactly. And she's not coming back next season, and apparently neither is Wally West.
She is coming back next season. Wally West is a reoccurring character now.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to be series regular,
Um,
which kind of
but
sucks.
Amaya
Because
is coming back, and that was actually Wally West, Caden Lonsdale. I probably butchered his first name, but that was his choice. He decided that he wants to go and explore other avenues, and by other avenues, I think it just means men.
what? Why do you think it's just men?
Well, he came out of the closet this year.
Oh, good for him. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, yeah. So he's gonna take some time off, but he will be back in intermittent episodes as Kid Flash. And Amaya is gonna be a regular again this season.
Wait, seriously? I thought. Wait, then who's leaving the cast? I heard somebody's name was leaving the cast.
Um,
One of the women. What is it? Oh, what's her name? Why can't I think of it? The actress, not just the actress's name, but the character's name. The one that controlled like the wind element or whatever.
yeah, it might be her. She might be leaving. I can't think of her name either. It
I mean,
starts with a Z.
I mean that kind of. I mean that kind of sucks because I kind of liked that character.
I did. I liked her a lot too. And yeah, I don't know who's leaving. Who? Nobody's leaving. I didn't hear anybody of leaving. I heard Wally was leaving, and then they brought on John Constantine as a series regular, and they brought
I'm so looking forward to that. I love John
yeah,
Constantine. I love this
yeah.
guy's. I
I
love
didn't
this
like him
version of
at
John
first, but he's
Constantine.
growing on me. And they also brought Ava Sharp on as series regular next season too.
Okay, cool. I'm wondering if they're gonna continue to go with the what do you call it? There's the word. Okay, first off, is it Tala Ash that I think is leaving?
Maybe.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't matter at this point. But at any rate, what were we just talking about again?
Ava and John Constantine are series
Oh
regular.
yeah, Ava. I wonder if they're gonna deal with more with
The
the.
clone.
I wonder if we're gonna deal what the clone aspect. I was just gonna say if they're gonna delve more into the whole she had a relationship with Sarah thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's there to stay.
Ugh, I don't
As
like
far
that.
as I have read.
I don't like that, and it's not that and this isn't even one of those things where like I just hate romance because I'm not the biggest fan
Right,
of romances in these shows just because they teen drama it up the hell,
right.
like, but it's really just yeah, I like crazy slutty Sarah the best.
Yeah, Crazy Slutty Sarah was fun, but I guess the writers want her to settle down now. That's what I've been
Everyone's got to
reading.
grow up,
Yeah.
right? Everyone's
Yeah,
got to grow
the
up,
writers said it's time for Sarah to settle down. Like as far
lame,
as you can settle down on time ship, I guess.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. I just don't know how I feel about it. Like it's just I just thought it was ridiculous. Like she banged the Queen of France
and all the Salem witches.
and all yeah, that's right. That was the best part.
Yeah. Yeah. Not and don't forget the
Yeah.
nurse. Well, she didn't bang her, but the nurse from the first season. Yeah, she was cute too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sarah. Yeah, I like slutty Sarah, but yeah. But now we get to see
Yeah,
grown
well,
up Sarah, and we saw the end of slutty Sarah bang Alex Danvers. That was kind of the closing the book on slutty Sarah. Was banging Alex
oh,
Danvers.
I can't wait for next season. I can't wait for next season's crossover.
Oh, the
That's going to be
awkwardness.
fun. That's going to be awkward in the
Yes.
that's going to be awkward in the best
Yeah.
ways
I
possible.
can't wait. It's gonna be fun. You know
Yeah.
what? That's the only thing I look forward to now, as far as the Arrowverse is concerned. They do great crossovers.
They actually do pretty good crossovers except for I still kind of didn't like the ending to the invasion story arc. Just the last episode just because like it's 5 superheroes stopping an army of aliens on a
Yeah,
rooftop.
it was a little weird. It was fun. It was nice to
Like where was
watch,
the
but
it was nice to watch, but like there's a whole lot of other logistical questions I had to ask, such as where was the military in all this? Like
they
Interpol,
said
like
fuck it.
what's
The
going on
superheroes
here?
got it.
Yeah, just a rich
Yeah,
boy in a mask
the
and his
vigilantes got
friends.
it. It's fine.
Yeah, let Robin Hood deal
Yep.
with this, guys.
If we have to pull in
Uh,
at the end, we'll pull in at the end and claim victory for ourselves.
we'll just mop up. We'll just mop up because it's what
Yeah,
America
mop up and
does.
take credit for it.
Exactly, just like
Yep.
World War II. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I respect veterans. I respect veterans and those who are in the military.
Yes.
It's a joke.
Yes.
Relax. But at any rate, so I mean, like it's just so. I almost want to start talking about Black Lightning actually,
Black Lightning had a pretty
which I
good
know
first season run, like they all do, but they're not. It's not part of the Arrowverse yet.
not yet anyway. Not yet anyway. They could throw it into the Arrowverse. They did mention metahumans,
Supergirl.
which did they mention Supergirl?
They
I don't
did.
remember them mentioning
It
Supergirl.
was. I can't remember the mother's name now. I'm gonna. Yeah.
Oh right, when she was talking to her daughter, like, "What you think about Supergirl?" or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, that's. I think they left that kind of vague because it's not clearly established yet as to whether or not Supergirl actually exists or if Supergirl is a comic book character
created that window
in that
to
show.
say that yes, Black Lightning exists on World. What was it? 38 with. Yeah.
The same one with Kara.
That window open there.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with it. In fact, I mean, I know they announced that Batwoman is going to be in the next season, which I'm kind of looking forward to, just so long as they make her as badass as Batman.
About that because they've fucked this up before they could even write it. They fucked this up before they could even write it. Well, what was it?
How did they fuck it up?
Batwoman. It's Batwoman. Okay,
It's Batwoman.
In the comic books, she is a lesbian.
I know in the comics she's a lesbian.
Partner is Maggie Sawyer, and always has been.
Oh right, so they've
kind of written themselves into a corner before they could even start this storyline. No,
not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, they could actually introduce back. I mean, okay. I don't know what show she's going to air on, and let's be real here. In all honesty, she's most likely going to be on Arrow first.
Most likely, yeah.
Most likely. That just seems like the type of show. However, they have made hints in Arrow about a vigilante that wears a bat costume. So, I mean, not on Arrow, on Supergirl. They have made hints about a vigilante that runs around wearing a bat suit. Okay. So what I'm saying is, provided she debuts on Supergirl, they could still give her Maggie. They could be like, hey, it's been a year. I've met somebody. Alex runs into Maggie. Hey, I've met somebody else, and it's I can't remember Batgirl's real name. I mean, Batwoman.
Kate
Kane. Yeah, exactly. This is my girlfriend, Kate Kane. They could still do that. Okay. That is a possibility. However,
but I don't think they will.
They probably won't, because they just won't.
There's a lot of fans. There's too many fans to piss off.
Right.
Going that route. Way too many fans. I mean, you've got $11,000 worth of fans there.
Right. 11,000. That's it.
$12,000.
I
said
you're even low, motherfucker.
We're poor. We're poor people.
That is true.
We're poor people.
All lesbians are poor people, right? No, I'm kidding.
A lot of us.
Yeah. Welcome to late capitalism in the 21st century, folks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know any. I know that fandoms have gotten together before and raised money, but I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about raising. Oh, you're talking about raising money. Oh, I thought you were talking about. I thought you were talking about merch.
They got $12,000 worth of fans that they could potentially piss off with a badly written Batwoman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about merchandising. I thought you were talking about $12,000 in revenue of merchandise. My fault.
No, I was just going back to our earlier conversation.
Right. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I hope they do it well. I mean, I just don't know why they aren't going with Batman entirely, because they've already introduced Superman. And by the way, that the way they didn't use Superman this season in Supergirl was cheap and lame.
Dude, let's just put his picture. Let's just put his picture on a television because we're too cheap. Oh my god.
For half a second.
Pissed.
Yeah.
I was actually raging with you.
Yeah, no, and I mean, like, okay, so here's the thing, and this is what I want, and this is a small spoiler to you for Luke Cage, and I'm sorry for anybody who hasn't seen the season yet, but in Luke Cage, they do something that has always bothered me, uh, or rather bothered me in this whole shared universe thing that doesn't happen, and that is at one point Luke Cage actually calls one of the other defenders for help.
Hmm.
Yeah, like which I mean I know it's happened once or twice between Arrow and the Flash and everything like that, but it's not like it, you know.
Well, it's happened 3 times because we have
No, no,
3
no, no.
crossovers.
I'm talking straight up. No, I'm not talking the crossovers. I'm talking straight up like, hey Barry, like I could really use your help for 5 minutes. You mind coming to Star City real quick? Sure,
Oh
Al.
yeah.
Yeah, that's only happened like once or twice, but I mean like, and whenever that happens, and is it just me too, or is it just, with the exception of that musical episode? It seems like whenever there's a crossover, like a mini crossover, it's usually just like a 2-second cameo.
Yeah, I was actually really pissed about it. The season, this Arrow finale, they advertised hard that Sarah Lance was gonna be in the last episode of Arrow this season.
And she
Like
was
they
in it,
advertised that hard.
and she only was in it long enough to just say goodbye to Quentin.
Yeah, yeah, it's
The,
complete and utter bullshit.
the sons of bitches.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss him saying "son of a bitch."
I know. I love. There
Uh,
were a couple tears shed for Quentin. I'm not gonna
there were a
lie.
couple tears shared for Quentin. Not so many for when Thea left.
No, no, I don't give a shit about Thea.
Yeah, she stopped.
And
She kind of stopped being interesting when she stopped wearing the suit.
riddle me this: how are they going to write? So Thea and uh
Roy,
Roy went with
they're
Nissa
on the
Al
run.
Ghul. Yeah, but they went with Nissa Al Ghul to do whatever quests they were doing. Their side quest there. I forgot what it was already. But now Roy Harper is going to be a series regular in Arrow next year. So, but not Thea.
How are they gonna work around that? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting too.
Well, what's the actress's name that plays Thea? I can't think of it right now.
Willa Holland.
Yeah, Willa Holland. Yeah, she has expressed several times that she just doesn't want to do it any. She didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest with you, though, I am kind of okay with the way she exited the series, just because like, not first off, not everybody needs to die
No, not everybody needs
to
to
be
die
written out of a series. And I mean, like, I could totally see her maybe coming back,
at the
but
end.
I mean, at the very, very end of the series,
Yeah, I'd like her to come back with fucking Merlin, just like guns a
he's
blazing.
dead. He's
Not
dead.
dead. He's not
Yes,
dead.
he's dead.
He's
I
not
hope he's
dead.
dead. He better be dead. I'm because I really think that between what was it, the 4 seasons he was on, they exploited him on Arrow, and like the 1 season he was on what do you call it,
Legends.
Legends. Yeah, which by the way, loved him on Legends.
Yes.
I loved them all on Legends, but at
Again,
any
he
rate,
was a better character. He was a better suited character for Legends than he was on Arrow.
I still think he was a good villain for the first season of
Oh
Arrow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was. That was a good. Yeah, that was a good start. But
What was it? He didn't
as
show up at all. What was it? He didn't show up at all in season 2, right? And then he showed up, and then he just magically comes back in season 3,
yeah,
right?
I think it was like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then he was just annoying in season 4, and then
Yeah,
died at the beginning of
his
season 5.
character progressed to a place where he was too comedic for the show, just like Damien Dark was.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, well, the funny thing is, like Damien Dark, when he first showed up, he was kind of funny, but then as the season went on, he started becoming a little bit more serious, but not serious, but like goofy serious. You know what I mean? Like trying
Yeah,
too hard to be taken seriously. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. He's much better on Legends. Much, much better.
So much better on Legends.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do think though that they should focus more. They should definitely start doing more like of the mini crossovers, like you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, I
Like
agree.
not the story arcs that, not like a story arc that lasts over all the seasons, but like like,
One.
and I'm not talking like because I know they did it like once or twice this season where like I think like Felicity was like FaceTiming or whatever with Cisco or whatever. I'm talking like straight up like like Cisco just shows up and he's on vacation, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, and he's like, all right, Team Arrow, looks like I'm gonna help you guys out today. That
Kinda
kind of
like
stuff.
when Felicity went over to that one episode of The Flash this season, but with better characters and a better story.
Can you say that again? You cut out a little bit.
When Felicity went over to The Flash that one episode this season, but with better
Oh, I
characters and a
hated that
better
episode.
story. No, it was
I
bad.
hated that
It was
episode.
a bad episode. I'm just saying
Like,
that's what you
I'm very
want,
look.
but with
Yeah,
better
that's what I want.
characters
Yeah,
and a better story.
yeah. Like, I'm sorry, and look, ladies, I'm very, very sorry, but the whole running joke through that episode of the hashtag feminism thing was just fucking stupid.
Yeah,
It
it
was.
was. They were.
It was just. It was very. It was. They were trying to shove it down my
They
throat.
tried way too hard.
Yeah, and not in the fun shove it down my throat kind of way.
No.
No. But it's just like, I'm sorry, but it's like, and I'm not trying to say you couldn't have an episode that was just all about the women of that show. It's of those shows. It's just like you picked the worst ones. You picked the worst group. You picked all of them that either A, have no combat training, or B, no
Yeah.
superpowers.
And I'm all for having a female-driven superhero show, but I'd rather you get rid of the males on Supergirl and actually make Supergirl about female superheroes. Because at this point, it's not.
It hasn't been about Supergirl since season 1, I feel like.
No.
No, because like, and that was, I told you that was my problem with season 2. It's like I didn't care necessarily that it was a lesbian romance or just a romance in general. It's just the romance between Maggie and Alex took center stage.
And then the romance between Kara and Mon-El was just hell to watch.
Oh, that was painful.
It was bad to watch, and luckily Chris Wood is not coming back next season, so there will be no Mon-El. But he I know you like the development that the character had.
I didn't hate it. Like, let me put it this way. I didn't hate it, nor did I hate his performance. And it's like, I get it. Like, he went to the future, saw some different shit and like, what was it, like 8 years or whatever of his life passed or whatever. So I can understand how someone would grow. I really do.
Yeah.
I do get that. It's just, push comes to shove, I liked Mon-El in the first season just because he looked like a dude you could hang out with. You know what I mean?
I couldn't stand him in the first season, and
I mean, I couldn't stand him that much. I mean, push comes to shove, I definitely did think I liked him better this season. And I mean, like, who's the actor? What was his name?
Chris Wood.
Yeah, Chris Wood. His performance wasn't bad. Like, I actually liked his performance.
No, it was a good performance. I just don't like the idea behind it that he needed 100 years worth of character development to become this good guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Off screen, 100 years worth of not 100 years, 8 years, 100 years, whatever you want to call it. We're playing with time travel here. I can call it whatever I want. But you needed all that time off screen of character development to become a decent guy. I don't like that idea behind it. He should have been a decent guy from the beginning.
Or at the very least by the end. Well, I mean, he kind of was a decent guy by the end of the first season he was in. To be fair.
I guess so.
He sacrificed.
Yeah.
He sacrificed himself.
He did. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not like, it's one of those things where I will go as far as to say he might not have been there the whole way by the end of the first season he was in, but he was on the right track, is what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
So it's not, so that in and of itself wasn't too hard for me to swallow. It was just like the everything else. And oh, by the way, can we please talk about them before because we're running low on time here, but we got to talk about them. The fucking cape tricks.
Oh, fuck those cape tricks, man. That was retarded.
Those were so stupid.
Retarded.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, oh, look at me. I'm going to stop a bad guy by flipping my cape around. Like, no, you're not fighting a bull. You're fighting another Kryptonian.
Yeah, like, use some kryptonite, get over your fucking self, and kill a bitch.
Like, I really, really wanted... I can't even remember. Like, how did she die again? Yeah, Kara pushed him. Kara pushed her in the well, right?
The well volcano fucking thing.
So Kara's killed someone now.
No, because she went back in time and fixed it.
I don't even remember what happened. It was so bland.
I know. All right, so Kara kills Rain, puts her in the volcano, and then Rain's heat vision goes off and subsequently kills Mon-El and her mother.
Oh, right.
Okay, and so she decides she's going to go back in time and fix it so that she goes into the shadow realm with Rain and Sam, and then Sam kills Rain in the shadow realm.
That's right. And you know what? I'm going to say
Valley, whatever you want to fucking call it.
Okay. So all this just means now is Kara's not a murderer, but she's an accomplice to murder.
Yeah. That's all that is. That's it.
That's all. It's just kind of like the same way how it ended with season 2 ended with Barry was like saying to not Sav, I want to say Savitar, but I'm wrong. Like Zoom or whatever he called himself. He's like, I don't need to kill you. And then like the time wraith or whatever it's called just shows up. It's like, no, Barry, you're just an
Yeah,
accomplice.
yeah. Your morality is not intact anymore, no matter what you think.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of like remember the end of Batman Begins where they're on the train where he's on the train with Ra's al Ghul and Ra's is like, so you're actually going to save your enemy, and then Batman just goes like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. I'm like, no, dude, if you have an opportunity to save someone and you choose not to because you don't like them, you're pretty much a murderer.
I mean, that's apparently not the law in this country. There is a news story. Go look. I'll send it to you later. We don't have to talk about it here, but in
Yeah.
this country, apparently, if you see somebody dying, you do not have to save them. You will get away with it, and you can post it on the internet and take videos of it.
All right. Send me that video. That's fucked up. But at any rate, like I said, we don't. If anything, we don't need to get into it because
we're talking about fun things.
We're talking about fun things.
Yeah.
Yay! We're talking about the fun things that we hate.
Yes. We always just seem to complain on these things. This is all we do.
Well, we're nerds. It's what we do.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not. And it's like I only have you on for the Arrowverse stuff mostly, which, like we've been saying, has been dipping in quality.
Yeah.
It's just so disappointing.
I know. Hopefully they'll get their writers' room and their producers will get their shit straight, and we'll have a comeback next season.
Well, I mean, like somebody summed it up best for me. It's like the first season of Arrow was like, or I think this was my summation of it. It's like the first season of Arrow was like, okay, this is actually pretty good. This is like a dark, gritty, like vigilante superhero show that I've kind of been waiting for. Like no holds barred. And then the second season upped the ante. Is like, oh, this is awesome. Then season 3 of Arrow happened, and at the same time, Daredevil came out, and Daredevil wins.
Yeah.
Daredevil wins big time. It's darker, it's grittier, and it's more violent. I mean, like the whole second season of Daredevil is dealing with a heroin smuggling ring. Like, there's a lot of heroin use on the Marvel Netflix shows. Like, there's Luke Cage, there's somebody's using heroin, and Iron Fist, somebody's using heroin.
And it's always different traffickers. So, like, who's not trafficking heroin? That's my question.
I know, right? Exactly. Apparently, Foggy Nelson. That's about it.
Well, he's the least. He should traffic heroin because he's the least to get stopped by a police officer and being like, "Hey, you got any heroin?" And nobody's gonna stop Foggy.
No, because everybody loves Foggy. But at any rate, back to the cape tricks, though, man. Like I just like as soon as they introduced that, I was like, this is the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Was that ever in a comic? Do you know?
I don't care. I don't know, nor do I care. Like
that's
I mean,
fair.
like, I know. Like Superman has done like things with his. Like I remember, like what was it? I watched like one episode. You remember the Super Friends? Of course you do.
Yeah.
I remember there was like one episode of the Super Friends where like Superman and Bizarro tricked Superman into going into a what do you call it? Into a cave that was filled with blue kryptonite. And then in order to stop it, Superman just it affects him, but it doesn't affect Bizarro. So in order to fix himself, all Superman does is just take a chunk of blue kryptonite and put it through his red cape, and somehow the light radiation filters through red. So that affects Bizarro. I'm like, that's stupid. That's not how shit works. And like, you got to keep in mind too. I was like 7 when I saw this. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing ever. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's stupid.
It was the 70s. What do you expect?
Well, that's a better idea than cape tricks.
It's just like, why do you need to use cape tricks? Like, can we be real here? Like, there's a reason why they made fun of him so much in the first Incredibles movie. Capes are honestly the most worthless piece of clothing ever.
They are.
They make no sense.
Yeah.
They are so dumb. Like, no cape.
Yeah, I think back in the day they looked badass, but now they...
No, they look badass. They totally look bad. They still look badass, but it's like, okay, but there are other ways to look badass.
Right? Look at the Green Arrow. That bitch don't need a cape.
Yeah. I know. I mean, Batman can keep his cape.
Yeah,
but that's just because he's fucking
because
Batman.
he's Batman. And Superman
Yeah,
can
that
keep his cape because he's had it since the 50s.
it's longer than that. Since probably the 30s.
You're right, the 30s.
Yeah. I just mean with Batman though, it's like it kind of completes the whole I look like a bat motif.
It does. It does. Wings.
Yeah.
Cape.
Exactly. So for him it makes sense because it's more of an intimidation factor. But at any rate, but I want to know: have they decided who they're going to cast for Batwoman in the next season? Have they announced
I
that
do
yet?
not think that they have cast a Batwoman yet. They have cast
Okay.
a transgender character for Supergirl next season, but no other new cast announcements have been made for the Arrowverse.
Was it that black? Was it the black woman from Orange Is the New
I don't
Black?
think. No, it's not. It's something
Okay.
completely different, and I don't know her name. Can't remember her name.
Okay. Okay. All
But
right.
we shall see what they're gonna
Well,
do
I
with
mean,
that.
here's the thing though with the Arrowverse, it's like, I mean, I know they've had some big name actors on there once in a while, like, like first off, very disappointed that there was an episode about the Trickster that did not have Mark Hamill.
I know. That was bullshit.
That was I didn't like that episode either.
No. 1,000
No,
no.
no. Nothing was. I've actually been tempted to just sit back and rewatch the first episode with the Trickster in it, just so that way I can see Mark Hamill say, "I am your father" again.
That was such a good episode.
That was such a great moment when he's just like giving the whole like, "You never knew about your father." You're like, "Oh my god, is he gonna say it? Is he really gonna? Is they gonna make him say it? Please tell me they're gonna make him say it." Oh my god, they made him say it.
It was awesome, and it was great.
It was great. It was so great. Like honestly, that is the one. Like that is the biggest difference between Arrow and all the other ones. Is not as many Star Wars references as on, say, The Flash. Definitely not as many on Legends of Tomorrow. There's like at least one episode. There's at least an average of like one Star Wars reference per episode.
Yes, there is.
I think.
It is every episode. There was a Star Wars reference. There are
there were a few
on the
Supergirl,
Flash, and there's a few on Supergirl. Yes, there's a few Star Wars on Supergirl.
but never on Arrow.
No, never on Arrow. And the Flash focuses on other references a lot.
Yeah, like any random like big time movie. Like I'm just like Terminator, Jaws.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorites ones though was when he quoted Captain Ahab from Moby Dick, and everybody looks at him and is like, "What? I read too." Cisco.
And my favorite
what I read
reference in the Arrowverse as a whole, and I can't even remember it, but it was when Oliver referenced Harry Potter, and everybody stopped and looked at him.
I don't even remember that episode.
It was last season, I think.
He referenced Harry Potter, and everybody looked. It was like, Harry Potter.
Yeah, and he did have there was a quip at the end, was like, well, I know who Harry Potter is, or I read Harry Potter too, or something like that. It was definitely last season.
Which, by the way, I'm so speaking of Harry Potter and the Arrowverse, very disappointed that Draco Malfoy didn't once say, "Wait till I call my father," or whatever the line is.
Fucking too. Like, his entire backstory was definitely Draco Malfoy from the get, but I was waiting for that line the entire fucking time. And it never came.
And you know me, I'm not even that big of a Harry Potter fan.
It never
like
came.
They didn't reference Harry Potter enough.
No, the only thing that was even close to a Harry Potter reference was his backstory.
Right. But at any rate, so the point I was trying to get at though with Arrow is like, yeah, they've gotten some they've gotten like bigger named actors like Mark Hamill, Danny Trejo, and a few others. But like for the most part, when they cast for the series regulars on these shows, like they usually don't go with anybody who has that big of a name. Like I know Stephen Amell, he had a bit of a name before this show. Like I mean, I know he was on like what was it, Queer as Folk back years ago, and then he was in a couple episodes of
was
Hung.
He really?
I think he was on Queer as Folk. Let me double check that. Hold on one second.
I am also going to fact check you. Also, the episodes of The Flash where Danny Trejo guest starred this season were the best episodes, in my opinion.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
the episodes of The Flash where Danny Trejo guest starred this season were the best episodes, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was on Queer as Folk. I just looked it up. He was Queer as Folk.
Really? Was he on? But was he on the
Yes.
American version?
Yeah, I think he was on the American version.
That is amazing. Who did he play? I mean, I didn't.
He was also on Degrassi. Apparently, spinning instructor. That's right. Okay, so he wasn't a major character. I think it looks like he only showed up like for
yeah,
like
I
2
see
or
it.
3
I'm seeing it
episodes,
now.
a couple episodes. He was also on Degrassi, 1-800 Missing, Tilt, Beautiful People. Like I'm trying to find the exact moment where it looked like his career like really started to get going, because it looks like for the most part he was okay. I want to say it's Heartland because it looks like this one he was like a series regular.
But I also say he did star in a couple of episodes. Looks like he starred in a couple of episodes of The Vampire Diaries, and that was on the CW. So CW got their taste of him then.
That's probably how he got the gig, in all honesty.
Yeah, in 2011, and then Arrow started when?
Yeah, and apparently, yeah, he was in an episode of Hung for like 10 episodes. It looks like. So yeah, he was. It looks. I guess he was like the villain in one episode. So that may have also been where he got part of it. You know. Oh, he was on New Girl as well. He was on New Girl as a character named Kyle.
Ah, very nice. Yeah, he was in. He was on that the Vampire Diaries in 2011 for 2 episodes, and CW.
Oh, that's right. He was in Lego Batman 3. I got to play that game just for that sake.
Nice. I want to play it.
Yeah, but well, we're getting. Who do you think he played?
Okay.
Who do you think he played? We should probably start wrapping this up soon. So, first, so how about we end it like this, Meg? First off, tell me what you want to see in in either individual episode seasons or individual shows, or as on the season, the franchise as a whole. What do you want to see happen next season?
I need
Arrowverse?
improvements. They need to stop writing themselves into corners. And they need to stop destroying their character development. That's a huge one.
All right, I agree with you that one.
So they just need improvement overall.
Yeah, and it's like, look, in all honesty, like, so I know I talk about this a lot, but like one of the main reasons why I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just like, I just read an article too that pretty much just summed it up. And for those of you who've never watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or just watched the first few episodes and said it was crap, listen, I get that, but like I just read an article that basically summed up saying you need to make it to the 17th episode.
Okay.
In order for the show to really to like it's kind of but then once you get to the 17th episode of the first season, which I know is a long time, that's a lot of TV to get through. But once you get to that episode, I swear to you, it is off to the races. But the big thing that I want to say that I think Agents did better than all the Arrowverse put together is particularly their romance. Like there were a couple of romances throughout, but there's been like one major romance all throughout the 5 seasons that they have handled exceptionally well, just because they knew to relegate it to the background.
Oh.
And if like this season, though, it wasn't so far in the background, but there was actually a very, very, very good reason for why it was not center stage, but it was more to the front of the classroom. You know what I'm trying to say?
Another thing I need, speaking of relationships, I need James and Lena to break up. Lena, like that.
Yeah.
Do you know? Did you want? It's uncomfortable to watch, and it's uncomfortable to watch because they have no chemistry. But the other thing is, the creators of the show created that relationship because there were too many fans of the show that wanted Lena with Kara. And so they were like, we're just gonna throw her with him, and that'll be that.
I didn't want that only just because I wouldn't have wanted that only just because they've established that Kara is heterosexual.
No, they haven't actually. The DC on Twitter has it down that they released it earlier this month for Pride.
Well, are we talking about Supergirl the comic book character or Supergirl the TV character? There's a difference. There is a difference.
The show always says that they try to keep it as I don't know. But
I mean, I'm just saying there was that whole thing with Mon-El. I mean, I'm not closing it off because I know like what happens a lot of times with people is like it's kind of like what they said about with Iceman in what do you call it in the in the X-Men comics,
mm,
where it's like a 40-year-old dude comes out of the closet finally because somebody said to him basically, look, dude, like there's some people that are in their 80s that finally come out of the closet. So
yeah.
that's just one of those things where as a dude who is identified as a straight man his entire life and has never even been remotely curious about going the other way, it's easy for me to forget about those kind of
Hmm.
things. So yeah. But at any rate, the big thing I want to see the next season is like just like take I don't care if you have I mean I don't like them very much, but I understand why you have to have the romances because that's just what happens in life in general, period. Just try and just put them to the background. And like basically what my problem has always been with Felicity and now this season with Iris was just like, I understand that you're dating, married, engaged, whatever to the main superhero, but it's one of those things where like, let's just say call me conservative in this regard, but I'm very much a fan of just saying when you're at home, she's the boss. When you're in the office, he's the boss, kind of a thing. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
I think
Uh,
next season on Arrow, we're gonna see Felicity come to the forefront very much again because, Oliver made this huge decision without her consent, and now he's in prison, leaving her to, raise his kid without asking her
yeah,
or letting her know that this was
right,
going to happen. So we're gonna see a lot more of
exactly.
angry Felicity next season, unfortunately.
And just when they were starting to make her enjoyable again,
I know, it really, yeah,
starting
yeah,
to.
they were.
I mean, like, it's kind of tough though because there was so much damage. Like, good luck trying to fix that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's gonna do it for us in this season. Oh yeah. Before we go, we gotta do this. Oh yeah. One other thing too. I want to see happen is I know it's a little congested as it is, but I definitely want Black Lightning to join the Arrowverse officially.
Yeah, that would be great. We're gonna have to see how season 2 goes. Season 1 was written for the Fox network. It wasn't written for the CW. So we'll have to
Right.
see how season 2 goes. They did a really good
Well, I
job
mean,
with season 1. I liked it a lot.
yeah, they did. I mean, you know what? I could see them doing it, but I don't see it. Here's the funny thing: I can't see it happening until the crossover,
No,
if it
it
happens at
wouldn't
all.
happen until the crossover.
Well, I mean, maybe unless of course it is established that
Yeah,
he is on the same Earth as Kara.
yeah, I couldn't.
Then I could possibly see it.
Yeah, I couldn't see him being introduced into the Arrowverse any other way except their crossover.
Yeah, I mean, like well, I mean, that's how they establish it. That's how all these characters have been established to be part of the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
It's a
Yep.
crossover. All right. So that's gonna do it for us, Meg. Before we get going, why don't you, from worst to first, the TV series, and we can't, and because it's not officially part, we cannot count Black Lightning,
Okay, from worst to first, Supergirl was the worst, then Flash, then Arrow, and then Legends.
and then Legends.
Legends won, hands down for me
Okay,
this season.
I'm for me, it's basically the same thing. Only I'm actually this is gonna sound a little weird, but I'm actually going to flip just the rankings of Supergirl and the Flash. I think the Flash came in dead last this season
Okay.
because like they were put because at the very least, like I like the idea of of the villain, and I don't believe it or not, I don't think they butchered the villain in Supergirl, if you can believe it or not.
No, Rain was
If you can believe
pretty.
me saying it or
She
not.
was pretty badass, and the only episode that I really enjoyed was that mid-season finale where Rain came in and just like killed everybody.
Oh yeah, no, that episode was great. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, I like the whole idea of like a sleeper agent human who's actually a Kryptonian kind of a thing. Blah
Yeah,
blah blah. I'm not really too sure. I'm crazy about the idea that she's no longer Kryptonian at all because it doesn't make sense to me due to the fact that she was born on Krypton from Kryptonian parents.
yeah, it is a little weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Nope.
You know, like how do you remove someone's DNA without killing them?
Yeah, I said if anything, that should have ended like there should be two of Rain now, like Kara. Like she shouldn't be human. There should be two of her.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Rain is dead, but yeah, like still, like what was Sarah? No, I can't. Why can't I remember the characters' names? Uh,
Sam.
what?
Sam.
Sam. Yeah, that's right. Sam. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to say Alex, but that's wrong. Sam. Um, how disappointed were you in the LGBT community, by the way? Because everybody was apparently predicting that Sam was going to die and then Alex was going to adopt the kid.
I'm not disappointed at all. I hate Ruby. Number one. Number two. This whole Alex wanting to adopt the kid is entirely character destruction.
Yeah, no, like it was one thing when she was with Maggie and like about to get engaged, which by the way, still mad that it's like you spend all this time together and you're about to get engaged and now all of a sudden you're having the discussion about kids.
Sloppy writing.
It's just stupid. Like you could have come up with any number of reasons as to why they broke up beyond like that's kind of like a conversation you have before you start getting serious with somebody, you know?
Not only that, she's a detective. You could have given the wedding and then have her like gone away on assignment or something. Like
Or just she got a transfer or one of them got a transfer period like
yeah. Like no breakup had to happen. Like
oh no, I'm not saying the breakup had to happen. I'm just saying if they did I'm just saying the breakup could have been handled better.
also that if yes, there were multiple ways to write out of that, and they just handled it terribly.
Yeah.
All across the board. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we've gone really long this episode. We had a lot to say. Meg, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to be doing. Do you think we're going to be doing this for the season premiere of all the Arrowverse?
I don't know. It depends how bad or good it is, right?
We might as well at least do it for the season premiere of the Arrowverse next year.
We've done this many of them.
Yeah, we've done this many of them. It's just oh my god! Like I don't know if I can keep watching this crap. Like
listen to them.
Yeah, actually, I've been gaining some followings lately because I've been upping my marketing. I've been upping my marketing game. So
Very
yeah,
nice. Good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us, Meg. You got anything you want to plug? The usual, just you got your own Instagram, Angry Pizza Gay.
Angry Pizza
25.
Gay. Yes, 923 on Instagram and on Twitter, just Angry Pizza Gay.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
And guys, you can follow me on Kyle Daily Comedy for both Instagram and Twitter. I haven't decided the exact date yet, but I'm going to be shutting down both the Facebook page and the Twitter account for what do you call it, for the Daily Chat podcast, just because it's getting to be too much for me to handle. Just I never update anything on the Daily Chat podcast because I just want to keep everything streamlined and going through my main accounts. So yeah, I'll post more information about that on the Daily Chat's Twitter account. So everything will just be filtering through Kyle Daily Comedy on Twitter and on Instagram. Meg, as always, it's always fun having you on the show.
Yes, it's been a good time. I gotta
find other reasons to have you on the show besides this crappy TV series.
Yeah. I'm always doing shit, watching shit. So movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All righty, Meg. I'll talk to you soon. I'll leave links for the description I'll leave links for you in the description below. One day I'm going to learn how to speak English.
Okay.
All righty.
All right.
All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.